What's going on, boxing fans all over the world? It's Pool Kind of Boxing coming at you with another boxing video for the boxing heads and the boxing minds. Oh, yeah, man. I'm trying to tell you, did you see the post press conference yesterday? Man, I'm trying to tell you, it was Demetrius Andrade coming in there, you know, like Clubber Lang, the old Clubber Lang style from the Rocky movies. He came in and he brought mamas in it. Yes, sir. He brought the mamas in it, and he confronted he confronted Canelo Alvarez. He sure did, you know, like Clubber Lang did Rocky, and he said, "Hey, man, congratulations, Canelo. hmm Congratulations, Canelo. But um, when we gonna do this? When we gonna do this?" And it was, and you should have seen the look on Canelo Alvarez's face. He looked at Andrade like he was like he looked at him like he was trying to steal something from him. He was trying to steal his glory, like he was trying to steal his thunder. And I mean, the look was he collapsed. His whole composure, Canelo Alvarez' whole composure fell apart when I tell you. And he saw him, he was like, "Oh my God!" He wanted security on Demetrius Andrade, and Andrade was like sitting there like, "Hey man, what about me? You know what I'm saying? You fighting all these other dudes, you know? What's happening? What's good, partner?" And so they had some back and forth, and it was good because he was saying, I think Canelo told him that who have you fought? Who have you fought? You haven't fought nobody, Andrade. And Andrade was like, "Well, who you fought? You fought Rocky Filton. You know, you fighting who was these people? They didn't have nothing. Yildirim, let's face it, y'all. Andre had a point. What is the deal with that? Right? I mean, they didn't have nothing special except they were beatable, right? I think that's the secret. That's the secret to it all, right? Is that those guys are beatable. They don't pose a threat, right? So if we can just all keep it real, let's just keep it real, you know? No, Canelo is not looking for a threat. You know, he just wants to cruise because we all know that if Jamal Charlo, who was to fight Caleb Plant, who's with the IBF right now, and win the IBF title, the super middleweight IBF title from Caleb Plant right now, if Jamal Charlo was to move up to 168 and fight him and win that IBF title, Canelo once again would have to abandon. He would have to abandon undisputed, right? And Caleb Plant is with the PBC. Caleb Plant is with the PBC. So if Jamal Charlo wants to spoil Canelo plans, all we have to do is fight Caleb Plant. But everybody wants the payday with Canelo. The money is with Canelo. So you hope like hell that they don't start singing that Canelo sweet song, that's Canelo sweet money song. We're in the money, we're in the money, and just start talking that sweet talk like Canelo is number one. No, No, they don't believe that. You saw the fight. You saw how slow Canelo was moving. You saw him run out of gas. I mean, we can all pretend. Oh yeah, we can all pretend that we didn't see him. That was the slowest moving fight that we have ever seen. Tell you the truth, I don't think I've ever seen a fight that bad except for Roy Jones Jr. and maybe Mike Tyson. You know, I mean, Canelo had flashes of going to the body. That was good. I mean, he looked good against a guy who basically wasn't that good to begin with. If we think about it, Billy Joe Saunders, he ducked Jermell Charlo too. Yes, at 160. Yes, he was up to fight Jermell Charlo. And he escaped to 168 too. Escaped the Witch Mountain. Get away from the evil black guy. And that's what it is. A lot of people, they don't want to face the facts that, Jermell Charlo is in his prime. He's not one of these dudes that, that don't have punch resistance and don't stay in the gym. I want to see him fight David Benavidez too. But he don't want to take himself out of contention or give Jermell Charlo a reason to say that you lost to so-and-so, so you don't get the shot. And that's exactly what would happen if Jermell Charlo fought David Benavidez and loses. Then they really not going to fight him. Nobody's going to want to fight him because they're going to use that to say, oh, you lost. You lost to David Benavidez, so you don't deserve a shot. When in all actuality, because of the competitive status of Jermell Charlo, and people want to see the fight because they know how good he is, right? That's why you fight him, not because of who you fought, because look who Canelo has fought, right? But we want to use these qualifiers, because you don't want your favorite fighter to be threatened. You don't want him to be knocked off his throne. That's fine. That's fine and dandy. But then you can't call your favorite fighter the greatest to ever do it, right? If you're going to protect your fighter, then he cannot have the legacy. You can't have it both ways. You can't be protected. You can't be protected and live in a mausoleum. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't out here in the wild, right? If you in the zoo, all protected, you can't be king of the jungle, right? What lion that's up in the zoo, in a little cage, calling himself the king of the jungle? And that's what's going on with Canelo. He's not in the wild. He's in his own little zoo. And everybody else is in the jungle out here fighting. But you in the zoo telling all the other animals, you telling all the other animals that you're the king of the jungle. And you're not. You're the king of the zoo. You're king of your own domain. Domain. You know what I'm saying? Because you won't let nobody else in your domain. Because you bring a wild lion from Africa to the zoo to fight a zoo-kept lion, and that African wild lion is gonna rip the shit out of that lion in the zoo. He's gonna tear his ass up, guaranteed, because he's used to running after shit and killing it himself. He's used to getting out there, getting it from the mud. He's used to getting fighting the other alpha lions, you know what I'm saying? Teaming up and jumping on his back and fighting for survival. That's why the Zoo lion, he's not used to that. He get his meals dumped into him every day, 3 times a day, and he creates the illusion of being a mighty a mighty lion. It's just an illusion. And this is the state that Canelo is in because he has a huge fan base that come to see him in his zoo. They come to see him. He is the lion in the zoo. What's that guy on Madagascar? What's the name of that lion? Alex. He's Alex. He's Alex the lion in the zoo performing for people who come see him. But for the rest of the boxing fans, who's out here studying wildlife in the real wildlife boxing world, we want to see Alex the lion. How will he do against the real wild lions that are free, that are out here getting it, that are out here chasing the other lions, that's fighting and battling, for life every day, not getting things handed to them. And see, that's where they're trying to change the way boxing is. They want certain fighters, to be protected. They don't want them to have to go out there and prove themselves. They take them off the market before they get hurt. Take them off the market before they get challenged. Because if you let it be known, it seems like only Triple G has enough cachet to let them tell it, to let the boxing world tell it, that only Triple G has enough cachet to really fight Canelo. And he fought him twice. And let me tell you, folks, it looked like they may even fight a third time, right? So are there any other fighters worthy of fighting the great Canelo Alvarez? Are there any other fighters worth fighting the great Canelo Alvarez? Well, that's where we get Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade was taken out by Eddie Hearns because Eddie Hearns wanted to keep Demetrius Andrade out the way. He's feeding Canelo all these easy fights on this European bum tour, but he never introduced his main fighter, who is a champion, by the way. He never gave Andrade the fight. How are you gonna set him up with Billy Joe Saunders, right? How are you gonna set him up with Billy Joe Saunders when you got the man he's been ducking in 2 weight classes now for a 3rd weight class? So Demetrius Andrade, I guess he was like, what the hell? I ain't got nothing to lose, so I might as well go ahead and do the uncordial thing, and I'm gonna bum rush his little victory dance and bust his illusion. So he bust up in the little zoo, his little cozy zoo, where everybody was congratulating him on beating up another guy, another victim of Canelo, and so he bust up in there. He's like, "Hey man, when you gonna?" It's like one of the real lions came into the zoo. He was like, "Hey man, when you gonna come out here, man? Hey, Canelo, when you gonna come out here?" And Canelo was like, "Oh man, no, man, you messing up my whole world here, man. You messing up what I got going on. You ain't invited. You ain't invited, man. We ain't having that, man. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing real boxing right here now. That we ain't doing that, bro. We play a certain way over here. And see, and that's what it is. They play a certain way, and they're not playing with you, Demetrius Andrade, because you represent real boxing. You represent not the illusion of boxing. You are a real fighter. And see, we got to get back to real boxing, and that's what happened. A little bit of reality snuck in to the Canelo camp, and they didn't like it. And they told him, he's like, fuck you. Canelo even said it in English. So you know he had to be pissed because he spoke in English. He was like, fuck you, get out, get your ass out of here. Demetrius like, hey man, fuck you too. I don't know, maybe that was Demetrius Andrade dad that was with him. I don't know, but he was like, fuck you too, and they were going back and forth with the fuck yous, and wow, it was awesome because that's old school. Y'all come from, and I don't want to just say y'all, but this is how it used to be back in the day when boxing was good. Somebody was trying to duck you, you go to them, you step to them. Don't duck me. Don't act like I don't exist, like you haven't been ducking me, like you haven't dropped belts, because of me. You abandoned undisputed at 160 because of me, right? So you got Demetrius Andrade on one side, you got Jamal Charlo on one side, and the whole world is acting like Canelo is like he's just like he can't be defeated. And we know these things are true. We know that he ducked these guys. So how can we pretend that he is the best? How can we pretend that he is the best when he don't want to fight them dudes? And that's what it is for me. It ain't about hating on Canelo. It's about not playing along in the illusion. Don't play in the illusion. If we're gonna be boxing fans, you can't be a halfway boxing fan. You can't like a guy just because he's muscular. You can't like a guy because he looks smooth and different colors and different color gloves and matching, shorts, and his brand is big. No, you got the truth. Errol Spence Jr. He went out there and he fought all the other champions, even though they were badasses. Sean Porter, he fought Danny Garcia, right? And he's looking to fight Ugas and Terrence Crawford. He ain't trying to escape up to 154, and which is not an escape because that division has a lot of killers in it, right? That division has a lot of killers. So this is what we want from a person who is called the face of boxing. If you are called the face of boxing, you do not duck people and call yourself the greatest. Understand? Not hate, just boxing. This is what boxing is supposed to be. Not about popularity. It's not about a brand. It's about, can you beat the dudes? Can you beat the dudes that we think you can't beat? Right? Can you fight the best? You don't go after titles when people drop it, when get stripped. You don't go for those titles. No, you wait for the champion because you got to beat the champion to be the champion. You don't wait for David Benavidez to lose his title. You don't wait for Demetrius Andrade to get stripped and go after their title. That's the weakest link, man. It's like you're trying to find the easy route. Somebody walked over Canelo Alvarez's grave. It looked like somebody walked over your grave. So, law don't go around here, law dog. I just pulled kind of boxing. I just wanted to tell you what I saw out there. That Canelo, you got to tighten up, man. You got to step up, man. You got to fight them, or you're gonna just retire rich, you know. But your legacy is gonna be straight trash, bro. If you don't fight them dudes, your legacy, your people are gonna love you, but your legacy, your real legacy, your real fighting legacy, is gonna be trash, you know. And that's what I think about it. This has been Pool Kind of Boxing, and I'll come back at you with another one. Remember, law don't go around here, law dog. But I got them windows. See y'all next time.